right, welcome. A few more folks will join us from the waiting room, but it's 10, so we'll get started. We'll do our quick introductions. I apologize if you've been with us recently. You might see a few similar slides. But again, we're super excited that you're all joining us today. Thank you so much for your time and energy this morning. There's my family again. We're still home doing our virtual learning at home while I'm trying to work full time. Kiddos actually have the day off today, as Madison is the district they go to, and they have a staff development day today. So they were all very excited that the online learning was paused for today, and they're given permission to do some other stuff. So they're actually off on an adventure right now with the lovely weather.
And I'm Nicole Aldworth. My boys are over there on the right, Mason and Cash. They have school today, but they're kind of hanging out while I'm doing this. So we'll be working on school afterwards, right? Always multitasking. But this is a picture of us on one of our adventures this year. We've been doing lots of hiking and exploring new parts of Wisconsin, which is always a nice thing to do. Karen, it's taken a while for the slides to advance today.
Okay, I'll try to anticipate and move us along. Are you seeing the housekeeping one right now?
No, not yet. But I can just keep talking.
Let me stop the share. Let me stop the share and start it again. Thank you for letting me know.
Sure. So I will just keep talking though. So just so that you all know, we are recording this meeting today, so you will be able to find this on the CISA2 website. In just a moment, you'll see in the slides that we have a link to the CISA2 COVID-19 resources, and you'll be able to access that later. We'll also be sending that out in an email as well, okay? And if you could just keep your microphones muted while we're talking, just to kind of keep that background noise lower. Once we get into breakout rooms, they'll make sure that you turn that back on so you're able to talk with those that you're in the breakout room with, okay? Okay, so we have just a little bit of humor this. Yep, we've got it. So there's a little humor this morning. Right, I imagine some of you can relate with this. This is certainly me, right? If I can get away with muting my screen, it's wonderful. Otherwise, I gotta take a few more minutes in the morning, right?
Okay, as we're settling in, I'm gonna launch a quick poll. As always, we want to hear from you, and we certainly appreciate all of your time and expertise and your thoughts. We were just curious about what you've been kind of hearing about summer school programming. So again, we gave you some choices there. Of course, if it's an other, let us know what that other is. We also are curious about what you're hearing about fall and the start of school, okay? Just kind of what maybe your district is starting to share and what maybe you yourself are anticipating for fall. And know, again, all of your answers are anonymous. We're not, again, just as always, Nicole and I are not going to give you legal advice. We are also not giving you anticipation of what will be, right? We don't know either. We're just very curious what folks are hearing out there. And then also, how comfortable are you with school in the fall? You feel like you can just handle whatever comes, or are you sitting in some other space? All right, so as folks are joining us here, go ahead and take a couple moments and answer those questions, and thank you. So I see some comments in the chat that folks are having some internet difficulties. If you think it's from my end, let me know and I'll turn my video off. If you can't scroll onto the poll, I apologize about that. Try your best, and if you can't answer it in the poll, pop your answers into the chat, as we would love to hear from Okay, almost everyone has voted. I'll give it just 30 more seconds for you to get your thoughts in there, or again, into the chat room for us. All right, I'll close that in 10 seconds. All right, here are the results. Information right now out there about summer school. I don't know that districts really have that all figured out yet. And again, if Nicole and I can help in any way, please let us know what is the most helpful. At some point, we do need to stop working as we have, a certain number of contract days. But again, if there's something that we could do that would be helpful for summer school, please let us know what that would be. Okay.
Curious, those of you who marked other, you'll have to put that in your what you're hearing in the chat box, because that's also very interesting to find out.
And I think there are a couple things in the chat box already, Nicole, if you want to.
So we do have a lot of people saying they're just not sure yet what's happening for summer school, or Heather Finnegan says our public school district is offering all online summer school. So that's another option.
Yep, so lots of unknowns. And again, it's well into May, right? When often we're doing some pretty significant planning for summer school. And then again, what are you hearing about fall? So just check those results out. Most of you are really sharing that your district shared plans yet for fall. I think we're all watching things, monitoring, thinking about different options, but I haven't heard anything definite. Time will tell, right? And then again, just our little social emotional check-in. How are we feeling, right? And that's how we're all feeling, right? So again, our message in asking all of that is we are here to help each other. Let's support each other. Let's do our best. And Nicole and I just truly are amazed at all the work all of you are doing. We really appreciate all of you. And if we can help support your work in any way, you have to let us know what is supported. Okay, I'm going to put the poll away and I'm going to pop back into the PowerPoint. Again, I apologize if there is a delay. Bear with us if there is.
So Karen, right now it's on the time for a poll slide.
Yep, and I did advance it, so give it just a second here.
Okay. I'll go ahead and chat while we're waiting for it to advance.
Thank you.
So today we're just a part of our agenda is that welcoming, right? Today our topic for today is how to welcome students and families back. I think this is a time to really share those ideas that you guys have been talking about, ask questions about how that might look, right? I think we're all in this kind of stage of wondering how that's going to be, right? Our districts haven't given us guidelines on what will happen, and I think it's really almost a day-to-day, week-to-week thing that we're still trying to figure out. So what are some of those wonderings we're having? We'll talk about some strategies that you can use. We're going to have time to talk with each other and some of that networking in smaller breakout rooms. We also have resources that we'll be sharing, and just kind of an idea of what if school is virtual in the fall, or again in the next year, throughout next year. So we'll have some time to chat about that. Okay, a community agreement. So Karen's sharing her screen right now. When we're in the breakout rooms, be ready to collaborate and put your ideas out there on the table. We'll have smaller groups, so if you can turn your video on and your microphone and just chat and share ideas with each other, that'd be great. Expect and accept non-closure. So we won't have all the answers today, right? That's why we're networking, we're sharing thoughts and ideas. But we might not leave, we still might leave here a little confused on things. And sometimes that's okay. That's how we're learning. We're going to support each other and help us plan for next steps, for what would be helpful for everyone moving forward.
Karen, could you try resharing your screen again?
I was wondering, thank you. Let me try that. And again, you guys, thanks for your patience. And I'm also going to go ahead and stop my own video, as sometimes that does help as well. And cross your fingers, cross your toes. Are you seeing the networking slide, the why we are together?
We're not.
Something is up then on my end. I apologize. Let me try to, Nicole, could you just talk real quickly about networking and let me double check?
I sure will. You work on that. Okay, so again, why are we spending time together today, or why are we offering the networking? Is really, it's an opportunity for early childhood providers to talk about how they're navigating their interactions with students and families. We want to have this safe space to share your own needs and your challenges, and to ask questions of each other and learn from your colleagues. Okay. Okay. Still working on that, Karen. I'm sorry, I'm flipping between my own.
And again, we did send the PowerPoint out. So if you do need to do that, I apologize if the technology just isn't supportive here of our work today. I'm going to try one more thing, okay?
Okay, so you just tell me when you're back on, because I'm looking at my own screen here. Oh, we're kind of back on. Karen, it's really fuzzy. It's hard. We can't read it.
So I'm almost wondering, Nicole, why don't we switch roles, and why don't you try sharing the slides from yours?
Sure, let's give that a try.
Okay. And while we're doing that, I'll just chit chat a little bit. And again, you guys, thank you for the technology patience here. I'm going to stop sharing mine. I'll turn my video back on right now. And just to share, you know, what we have organized for you today are some resources, not all the resources, right? We do not want in any way to overwhelm you at all, because I think all of us are able to go out there into the world and grab some resources that make sense. We're trying to give you some very targeted resources that are logical to us. But again, please let us know if this doesn't work. As I've been listening to all of you, I've been hearing a lot of what I call wonderings, right? This is not by any means an exhaustive list, but I think all of us are just thinking about this moment in time and being really thoughtful about this moment in time. And these are just some of the things when it comes up on screen that you will see on this next slide about wondering. And I think these are some of the questions that are kind of rattling around in people's minds as they're planning for summer school or they're planning for fall.
Karen, are you able to see my screen?
Now I can see it. Can everybody else? If you can you just do a quick little thumbs up or do your reaction thumb up? Okay, excellent. Let's try it this way. Thanks, Nicole, for sharing that. So
You're
again,
welcome.
these are the things that people seem to be really rattling around right in our heads. That kids haven't been in this routine of school and have been with their families 100% of the time. But that does not need to be a negative, right? Being with our families is really, really cool. But again, often, even if students are brand new to us, they have been in some type of a structured routine, right? They've been in childcare or preschool or swim lessons or gymnastics. It's really different. I'm also just hearing from lots of families and from all of you that this is an anxious time, right? And families may be coming back to us, or students may be coming back to us having had this. That isn't ideal. And the learning has really looked different, right? Again, not an exhaustive list of questions, right? But just some things that I keep hearing folks are wondering about. So the first resource then that I want to share is pyramid model based. And again, if you know me, that's not, Nicole could pull up that first resource for us. By no means am I dictating that you use this. To me, this is just really helpful because it takes this idea of trauma-informed care and education with these really good quality pyramid model strategies and puts them together. So as you scroll through, you're going to notice some different teacher practices. And it's not a massive form, it's a total. And to me, it's very, very functional. So as kids, as school is beginning or as school is returning in whatever form that looks like, it's a lovely time to really reflect on these very specific teacher practices, right? And think about with intentionality, as a team, are we doing this as a system, right? When you read through this list, I think you're going to see a lot of, oh, of course I do that. I already do that, right? Which is lovely. I think we need to be very mindful that we might need to do these things even in a little bit more systematic or organized way, or spend more time really teaching our behavioral expectations, or teaching how to do school, teaching how to manage transition, teaching how to interact with other kids who are not your siblings, right? And think about those experiences that kids are coming to us with. The other part that I really like about this form is under each category, you'll see 1 or 2 shaded items, and that's always your family involvement piece. So family involvement isn't a separate thing. Family involvement is embedded into this work. And as you've heard me talk about, how can I really partner with families and not just be providing activities or resources, but really enter into a partnership through that solidarity lens. When you look at these family engagement opportunities, always is first that the professional is asking families, how are you doing this at home? What are the strategies that you're using at home? And then the sharing of what we're doing within that school system, right? So again, I just think that's a really lovely way to kind of structure this time and this work, and I hope you find that helpful. I saw a question in the chat about getting a copy of it. All of this is embedded into the links in the PowerPoint and in the agenda, but we can also send it out separately if you need to. And then I just wanted to showcase 2 additional resources. If you're hearing from families that they are in need of some resources, again, the pyramid model has a beautiful page, way too many resources, right? So you would probably want to go in and do a little bit of sorting, but some really nice things that are available for families, often in multiple languages, and often this site will link you into other national sites, right? So again, some really positive supports for families if families are asking for those, okay? So that's the second link. And then the third one is a local link to Wisconsin Infant and Alliance for Mental Health. They're our statewide lead in all of this work for pyramid model, and they have a beautiful web page. Don't feel like we need to pull it up because I'm sure you guys can do that on your own, but it has resources for families, it has resources for professionals, it has some helplines and some other tips, and just some really, really nice resources in case families or professionals are needing those. Okay. So I'm going to pause right there just a second. I want to share one more thing before we break you out into your breakout rooms. But any thoughts or comments about those strategies or how you feel you could use them? And again, if you have other resources, I think that is just fantastic. We don't want to overwhelm you with resources, but I feel like we have to think with intentionality. How can we actually really welcome families back, right? After this very, very unique. Okay, then we'll do breakout rooms. And Nicole, I think I can manage that from my end. I'll create the rooms. We'll give you 15 minutes. You will be in a room with 3 to 4 people. Oh, thanks, Connie, for that note in the chat room. I'll make sure I have those links correct. I apologize if I made an error. It happens, right? But I apologize. I did check everything, but maybe I didn't catch that one. Please use this time to talk about whatever is the most helpful for you. We'll again give you a little bit of a warning when you've got a few minutes left. But again, it'd be great to listen to your colleagues and use this as a PLC time to really talk about what can I do with intentionality to welcome children and families back, however that looks when we are kind of back to our new normal for school, okay? I'll create the rooms. Please admit yourselves. Let us know if you need any additional help. And again, thank you for your time. All right, it looks like we're all back. Thank you so much for those really rich and deep conversations. Hopefully you got some tips from your colleagues. Before we jump into kind of our final resources and wrapping up, anything that anyone would like to share out to the greater good, and I'll just be quiet for a few seconds. Feel free at any time to put information in the chat or to interrupt Nicole and I, as again, we feel like our role during these networking times is kind of to like organize things. And again, cross your fingers that the tech works well. I apologize that mine isn't working well today. And again, thanks to Nicole for supporting us in doing the slide deck for us here. And we really want to know that, you know, you guys are doing so much good work. We just want you to have that time to really celebrate your successes and to learn from each other. Okay, so again, interrupt at any time. Along with those resources that we already talked about, the pyramid model specific resources looking at teacher practices, these are just ideas too that I've heard from some folks that they're really thinking about doing in a systematic way, right? Regardless of whether we're face to face with our students right away, whether that's a staggered schedule, whether we still are online for summer school or for fall, some universal things that we might want to consider as works into your system. Home visits are one. Again, now this might have to be a virtual home visit, right? It might not be what we think about as that real traditional home visit. But again, often I think we offer those things to families and it's a really beautiful, powerful, lovely thing. But maybe we have to think about it a little bit more systematically, right? I'm really going to, with intentionality, connect with every family that's going to be in my classroom. Once we are back together, how can I bring families into the classroom? Because kids have been with their families 100% of the time, right? Unless their parents are essential workers and are in some type of childcare setting. How can I bring families with us back to the classroom? Can I have pictures of families? Can I have all about me books that really can support kids if they're missing, you know, that family member that they were with 24/7? We oftentimes do open houses. Could I do a virtual open house, right? I think about those video models that I have done in the past for certain learners, perhaps learners who have an autism spectrum diagnosis. Could I do some type of video modeling with my whole class, right? In my classroom, even if my class isn't there? And could I be walking around, talking about the activities, talking about the centers, talking about our routine, and have that posted for families? And how can I connect with families? Phone, video calls, phone apps, connections through snail mails. Just again, we do these things, but I feel like we just have to up our intentionality just a smidge, right? And on the next slide, we just have a few more wonderings. How can we start planning, right? What if we're not back face-to-face 100%? What if we end up being face-to-face for a while and then have to go back to virtual? We have learned so much during this time. What is working? Are we having success with? How can we push that forward and plan with intentionality? How can I constantly be building relationships with families? What would a 3-year-old, a 4K or a 5K's first day of school look like if it isn't face-to-face? How many videos are all of you on of somebody's very first day of school, right? I'm sure I'm in hundreds of family videos by now because that is a big day, right? It's a celebration day. How can I do things for students, even if we're not face to face? How can I still make that such a celebration, such a welcoming event? My own daughter's, when she was in 4K, her 4K teacher sent this little note in the mail the night before school, and it had a little poem and some craft like sprinkles. And then she was supposed to put that under her pillow and dream about 4K. And we still have that. Like, how can we, with intentionality, really still celebrate that first day of school for kids, even if it looks different than what it has in the past? And this is, you keep hearing me say this, right? How can I do need to do learning virtually, how can I celebrate family and really embed activities and embed learning through a strengths-based approach with families into their schedules, things that they're already doing? How can I celebrate that with them and really use a schedule matrix or, again, a partnership with families where we learn together? And then we put a link in here. I think this is so exciting. NAEYC, June 1st, is going to have a virtual academy. So I'm going to take it, right? Like, this is our national leader on early childhood care and education, right? I'm really curious what great strategies they will have for us. And if you're not an NAEYC member, lots of this stuff is free right now, as well as DEC, Division of Early Childhood. So again, that's a link you guys can check on, and that will be starting in. Nicole, I think you were going to talk about this page.
I was muted. Sorry about that. So thank you, Karen. So here are some resources. We've shared these before if you've been in other networking meetings with us. So we have the ECTA Center. That is just a great go-to website for everything for early childhood nationally. So that's really the big site that we like to send people to, whether we're during school closure or not. But there are a lot of really specific things to help us through this time with virtual learning, and some nice videos that show how to do that well. The next one is the ECTA Center eNotes. Within that link, you'll be able to sign up for monthly emails. And every month they send out updates that in the world of early childhood. And this has been going on for a long time. So this is even pre-COVID-19. But if you're interested in getting those regular updates, you can go to that second link there. The DPI COVID-19 Special Education Question and Answer is another great resource that we like to direct people to. And that's being updated on a regular basis. I think there were recent updates on last Friday, right? So as information comes in around everything special education, you can find it on there. And I believe if you click on there, one of the very first resources is to early childhood. The next one is the DPI early learning page, and that is information that's very specific to 4K. So if you have questions around 4K, that would be a great resource to check out. And again, it's being updated as information is available. Then the last resource is the COVID-19 Early Childhood Resources for Teachers and Families. And the program support teachers around the state put this together. It is full of information and full of activities for families and resources. So if it might be overwhelming, and as Karen said, we don't want to bombard you with resources, but that is one that you might find helpful if you're looking for things. One other professional development that is still coming up this year is tomorrow. So tomorrow from 3:30 to 4:30 is the 4K virtual connections. And the topic is end of the year celebrations and transitioning to kindergarten. Sort of leads into what Karen was saying about how do we welcome kids back in the fall with the like celebrating a first day of school. How do we celebrate the end of this school year? So if you'll just need to come to this, or you can open the slide deck and you'll find the Zoom link right here for you. Okay.
And then finally, to start wrapping us up, if there are specific questions, if you need specific support around your curriculum or special ed service and delivery or anything else, reach out. Nicole and I, again, our ultimate message is we are here to help. We cannot add anything onto your plate. You are too busy. You're doing too much excellent work. Let us know what is helpful and supportive. And then we would welcome your ideas and input. We have created a folder or a form. It's a fillable Google form about success stories, right? I know some of you shared some things in the chat. I would love for those things to be documented in this folder. Why not share each other's successes, right? Why not really be able to help each other as we move forward in this work? So I know it's another thing to do, but hopefully it would not take you too long to pop in some of the success stories that you really have. Bill just put the link for us in the chat room. Thank you so much again, Phil, for that and for all of the help. And we're learning, Nicole and I are learning so much from all of you, and we really appreciate and honor all of the great work you're doing. To model some self-care, here are 2 inspirational quotes for us just to take a breath and read, right? And maybe another breath and read. And one final breath and read. I have never spent so much time on a computer as I have these last few weeks, and I find my shoulders get very tense. I don't really enjoy the computer. I enjoy all of you, but make sure in all of this hard, amazing, great, rewarding work that you are also caring for yourself. With that, we have a few minutes left. If anybody has any additional questions, we can stay on the Zoom call. I know your time is very valuable. Feel free to pop off of this. Who knows, maybe you've got an 11 o'clock meeting that you're joining. It's a beautiful day if you can go outside. And again, just know we truly appreciate all of your expertise, your thoughts, your energy, your wonderings. We'd love to hear about those resources. We also are curious. Nicole and I are starting to plan for networking for next year, and we are going to have some face-to-face opportunities, but after we're done with all of our online offerings this year, we'd love to send a quick survey about would it also be beneficial to have some online connectivity as well? Or would that be repetitive of other things the state is already offering? So just kind of watch for that, as we would really appreciate your input as we plan for forward work as well. So again, thank you, take care. We appreciate all your hard work, and let us know how we can be supportive. Have a lovely day.